Thank you everyone for being on my show yesterday, listening to Celeste Chaparro and I talk about the moon, the Channel 58, how they program people and what happens when the TV is off or when it goes blank or when you hear those noises, the high, the high pitched, I think it's an E or an F, sharp. Anyway, if you all want a reading, if you want to talk to me, you guys can schedule a reading. You can go through my website or you can just email me at Andromedan1800, Andromedan1800 at protonmail.com or the vvyarino11 at gmail.com. The Unchained Hearts, it has been no longer good for a whole year. They either sometimes they hack the Unchained Hearts or the other Gmail, but good thing I haven't had the Proton Mail hacked. Anyway, so here we are with, let me share the screen, the programming of marriage. And why are we women taught to, be so dramatic and always wanting to get married to that man? Just because you're dating a man or a woman, 3 to 5 years, even 7 years, even 10 years, it doesn't mean you have to marry the person, okay? When you enter into the marriage contract, you're pretty much selling your soul to these agencies where the certificate is used, the marriage certificate is used, your taxes are used. We all know that. We look up Scarecrow or the Scarecrow man, right? Our social security numbers are used. So here we are with Sex in the City, the program of when she tells Big that she's going to move to Paris. And this is the Media Fair Act for educational purposes only. This is the mirror that women have been taught to see and how to treat men, because they become so dramatic and needy of them. It's like their archonic energy has to have a hold of that man and imprison them in some form, some way, shape, or form. Here we go. And there goes the FATs right now. So anyway, that's one. They close the window. Right back. And then we have the part where the girl just, can't wait to get the dress. It's all about the dress, the ring, all the other women being, jealous, you know, saying, haha, I'm married, you're not, or I'm going to get married and you're not. And look, I'm in the paper and trying to get the most expensive dress. So, you know, she she makes it seem, the older actress makes it seem like, oh, 40 is like way too old to get married. But hey, you want to be on this magazine thing. And then here we go, trying to show you all the what she goes through here. So it goes on and on and on. So all this to, you know, get the attention of the other women that may not be as financially, uh, we'll say, stable, and to also, obviously, to sell, right, to other women. And of course, they can have copies of a Louis Vuitton, or they can have copies of a Vera Wang dress, or they, you know, it's all about making money. The, you know, the United Snakes, like they say, or states, how to get people to spend more money, how to use their luge, their energy, et cetera, et cetera. So like I said, it's all about taking women's luge, or, you know, it doesn't matter, whoever's wearing the dress, you know, whether it's a man or a woman, whoever. So, and then you see the black and white tile there. That's MK Ultra. That's making sure that it's in your brain. That anytime you see black and white tiles, you're going to remember this scene about, oh, I need the most expensive dress ever. And then I'm going to be really popular. And, you know, and the guy that I'm marrying is going to love me forever. You know, he's going to want me more. So Westwood gave her the dress, right? Okay, let me go to this other one that I wanted to show you guys. See, how do I get out of here? Escape. Anyway, so then here's a scene where, you know, one of the friends of just Jessica Parker, or whatever, the actress, has, you know, her husband decided to cheat on her, and they're talking about who is going to take care of their son. And you can see in the back there's black and white again. And the chains that she's wearing on her shirt, right? The chains of marriage, the ball and chain, right? So what it is they, you know who they are. They want humans to marry. And if they don't marry, then they put the fear of God in them. And we are, you know, some of us have, you know, the dragon bloodline or whatever, and some of us were made, you know, we're highly sexual. The human being, because of the bloodlines, is highly sexual. there's these songs that, I want to F you like an animal, things like that. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to damn you, right? If you decide to have an affair. And what I tell people is marriage is a commitment. So if you're still wanting to have sex with other women or men or whatever, then don't get married because it's a commitment. But, some people are indoctrinated into having the fear of God, which you know who God is. And Lil Enki, the wannabe gods of the Bible, the Anunnaki that were left here. Also, the SSS kings and queens from the Terra Papers of George Morningstar. And, we have this thing where we think that the marriage is going to save you, like a man is going to save you and sweep you off your feet and love you forever. And you're going to live happily ever after. That's what Disney or Pedo would, right? That's what they want people to believe. Okay, here we go. So this is at the night before they're gonna get married, Big and Sarah Jessica Parker's person's character. Anyway, so they're with her friends also, they're trying to entrap him. And what is a wedding? Black and white, right? More programming. There's a scene here where the guy that cheated on the girl, comes over here and he's trying to ask for forgiveness. Let me see if I can find it. Steve's here. Okay. Look at that. And they have the penis there. It's all about sexuality. The bodyguards. So more drama. She's blaming the man for breaking her. I mean, everybody knows that if you're gonna get married, mistakes are gonna happen, or maybe that man never wanted to, marry you. Maybe you're begging him to, please, please marry me, like you're the one, and more drama. So this character here goes back to the bar area and tells Big, "You're crazy, like for wanting to marry Carrie, right?" Because she just had this argument with him. So she's like putting a spell, a bad spell, a dark spell to their marriage already. Right here. Well, never change yourself for anybody, ladies and gentlemen. That's the first mistake. And he has doubts, and then this scene happens later on. And of course, Carrie doesn't get the phone because the little girl who's nobody's business, nobody's watching, the little Asian girl that was adopted, right? They probably bought her because even if you see that movie, Steel Magnolias, where Julia Roberts plays this girl that, you know, can't have kids because of a disease that she has. Even Gidget, whoever, you know, forget her name, but she used to play Gidget. She plays her mom and she tells her, you can always buy a baby. But anyway, so this little Asian little girl that is in this movie got a hold of Carrie's phone and hid it. But he's leaving a message here. Like he's showing his true heart, like to the girl that's supposed to, you know, marry. He's supposed to marry. Ridiculous dress with the bird on her hair. And of course, she's so much into herself that she doesn't even look for him, you know, waiting, waiting, waiting. So then she finally, you know, gets the message and they make the whole drama here scene, you know, like, what the heck? That's assault right there. So, you know, drama, drama, and here you are being pulled to think that the man is the bad one. He's in black, obviously black and white. She's, you know, so angelic that she deserves for him to marry her. You know, like she's the best. Like, you know what I mean? It's just dumb. All right, I'm gonna show you one more. The opposite. This one's called the book club next chapter, and it's when Jane Fonda is getting ready to be married. Here we go. She's had a lot of work done, Jane Fonda. I remember working out to her videos. Anyway, she's gonna tell him this spiel, you know. Uh, there we go. So gross. That's gross. See, and then they're always like trying to sell you that, oh, you're gonna die soon. Like you have to live, we have to live our life like happy as we can, guys. That's all I'm saying here. And of course, they don't marry. Anyway, you can watch it on your own. And then we have Just Go With It with Adam Sandler trying to go for this young girl here. The whole sex kitten thing. So he was creating a fake family for that. I've seen this movie many, many times. But so yeah, and then he just wants to be married to the young model. And then we have her, she wants to go to an acting school and she's like, trying to have a British accent. So it goes on, and then at the end, you know, um, he's telling her all this stuff here. These were best friends in high school, but they really didn't get along. They're trying to up one, and so creating fake lives and things like that. Now, if you see the pineapple is also MK Ultra, is meant for fragmentation of the mind. When some of us were traumatized and stuff like that, they create altars. That's why the pineapple is there. And the color yellow is very important. She's wearing tiger eye. It's so funny, Jennifer Aniston. I have one just like that. Anyway, and a pearls, right? The yellow for the chakras. They're always trying to activate your rainbow, right? Your chakras. So anyway, a lot of MK Ultra programming. So this one is a lot of programming here. It's called gosh, he's just not that into you. And he's over here. He's already having an affair with another woman. He's married to this one. He's lying about smoking. So this woman is, pretty much his handler, people. When you get married, the one who is the, you know, stronger one will be your handler, unfortunately, if you let it. There's people online that won't talk or say anything public about, say, somebody, because they're afraid that they're going to be that person, their friend is going to be angry forever, and they can't tell their own truth online or even their life because they're afraid of their anger, their wrath is controlling them. So who's your handler? Whoever you can't talk anything about anything to anyone about, that's your handler. You should be able to express yourself freely in life about your opinions. And if somebody doesn't want you to say anything to somebody else, then that person shouldn't say anything at all. And of course, he is smoking and having an affair. And this woman is manipulating him. Now she wants a baby, and he doesn't want a baby. He didn't want to get married to begin with, but she gave him an ultimatum. They were college sweethearts, and so he married her because he was afraid that, you know, her family was going to talk crap about him, or that he was going to break her heart. It's like, don't be afraid to break someone's heart if you have to live your life as you want to. You should not sacrifice yourself. That you should not give your heart away, period, to begin with. Like that movie Dark Shadows. I recommend that one too. The color yellow here is for gender neutral. So gender neutral is yellow, the color yellow. And then here we go, Drew Barrymore, Baltimore, Barrymore, right? Baltimore. She's been trying to date someone and she can't get a hold of him because she has to like either text him, email him, or use a Twitter account. And that's what I mean by we're all infected with this thing of, you know, there's an email. You can email somebody or you can call them if you have their number. It doesn't, you don't have to be messaging them everywhere, you know. Here we go. So people are addicted to taking selfies all the time to get attention. They're attention hoes. And Connor, he's in love with Anna. Uh, and she pretty much uses him as a booty call, but he's infatuated with her. Then toward the end of the movie, he buys her a house when she's done with the other guy's affair. And, you know, he tries to sell her on a planchador, a burro, how do you say that? To iron an ironing board, you know, that flips out from the wall there. But anyway, there we go. So sex sells, right? This world here too is about sex. Sex sells. So here we go. Looks like a boob. Look at that picture here. So this is all about transgender, transhumanism coming up. Hmm. So always the woman trying to coerce the man or make him feel bad and so that he can marry her. Hmm. So here comes the drama. Oh, yeah, yeah. Because she was listening to her friends talk about someone that had been with someone married, right? And then he finds the woman of his dreams and divorces that one and then marries the new one. Trading the old for the new or whatever. And then here is Queen Charlotte of Bridgerton, where, she wants an heir. She wants an heir. Sorry, it takes a while to go back. And she won't stop until she gets a grandchild because, King George and her need an heir. Hold on, guys, sorry. Now, this is what I was talking about in one of my videos about the grand experiment where Queen Charlotte, she's melanin dominant or black, right? That's another name for that. And then German, and she's, marrying, she married King George long ago. But now they have to, mix the bloodlines again, and she's upset because she has not been given an heir. Anyway, that's another part of the control issue of being married. Then you have the mom or the mother-in-law that wants you to produce heirs for your bloodline. And then here is where King George has to go under the bed because he, that Monroe doctor, that German Monroe doctor was using techniques, yeah, Nazi techniques, right, to fragment his mind because he was talking to Venus and he has all these abilities. So there has always been a question, where does uh, mental illness stop and where do abilities begin? And I'm like, well, you can't really say that. I believe that first of all, I don't really believe in mental illness because, that's where our abilities come from because they've mixed our blood so many times with different races that it causes like a glitch, but we are the glitch, right? So I think they go hand in hand. Sometimes I'll be here, he says, and sometimes I won't. That's how I feel sometimes. It's like, you know, those that know me know what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm gonna forward it to another part I wanted to show you guys. And then here's where one of her ladies in waiting, she lost, her husband died, and of course her husband was like 40 years, 50 years older than she was. And he was using kids for sex trafficking, and I don't know how many kids they had together, but here she is desperate to try and, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna have to get married again? Because, her husband that died had lied to her, sorry, about how much money he had. He pretty much wasted it, right? Hearts and flowers, right? The men always have to like be programmed to appease the women with flowers and jewelry and perfume, or else you don't love me. But then they have someone else they're having another life with. Oh my gosh. So he's over here trying to enchant her with a kiss and sex, right? Okay, 1 moment. Here he is again asking her for marriage. Anyway, the rescue me thing, help me, save me, I need your money, pretty much. All right. And lastly, what I'm going to show you, because it's so long, here we go. One of her sons is going to get married. Their hairdo, how could they, did their necks hurt? So beautiful hairdo though. Hmm. That's the other program of the royal, the lonely wolf, the lonely. I don't agree with that, I'm going to be lost because I don't hold on to someone, whoever comes along tightly and I love them no matter what and I marry them. I don't agree with that, but that's just me, guys. Thanks for watching. Like I said, if you'd like to talk to me, you can schedule a reading. And if you want to be on my show, let me know. Right now, I'm in the process of moving, so hopefully, and then I'm having surgery on the 24th of July. So just let me know so we can squeeze it in there. Thanks, guys.